I'm Robin and welcome to Molten Modular. I have discovered a new use of the Molten Bypass. The Molten Bypass, you say, what the heck is that? Well, it's one of my modules, one of my two modules, that is designed to act as an effects loop. It allows you to route sound from a module out to an effect and back again, but then bypass it. Because bypasses are just something that you don't do in Eurorack for one reason or another. Nobody knows. But I have introduced this module which can do the bypassing, which allows you to turn effects on and off very easily, automatically, or with your finger. Now, I can show you what I mean up here, and then I'll tell you about the new thing. Right? So here's the basic idea. Let me just show you how the Molten Bypass works. I've got a sound source here. It goes in the top of the Molten Bypass, and I've got an effect here. So what happens is the sound from, in this case, the supercar goes in the top. It is then sent via this cable into the effect, and then out of the effect back into the bypass. So you've got this effects loop right here. You can have anything in that loop, any effect, anything you like. And then the output, the final output, is here, which then goes to your mixer or whatever. So if I have that running through, so the supercar is currently going through and it is bypassed. And if I want it to take in the effect, I hit the launch button. Then there's the effect. And then I can decouple it so it just comes through dry as those other bits and pieces still filtered through, because I have it in soft mode, which allows the taps and the reverbs and the tails to keep on going. So it's a brilliant way just to capture part of your audio and send it through an effect while the rest of it comes through unfettered. You can have it awash with stuff and then bring it out. You can also just gate it, so just hold your finger and it turns on and it turns off, turns on. Or you can automate it through the CV input here. It's a beautifully elegant, simple solution to something that didn't exist in Eurorack. The ability to bypass stuff simply, easily, automatically or manually. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this man's a bloody genius. How on earth did he come up with that? Well, you know, these things happen. Once in a while I strike upon a fantastic idea that I think everyone should have. So that's the Molten Bypass. Now what happened is that this is my current sort of live rig. I used it for the CV Freaks gig that I had a few weeks ago, and I'm really enjoying what this is giving me. I've managed to restrict myself somehow to this number of modules within this sort of case. It's been a struggle, but I've got there, and I've got 4 or 5 voices going on that I very much enjoy playing with. It's still in flux, but I'm getting there. But the one thing that I didn't really have was drums. Well, I did, except I had no way properly to control them. I was doing all of the drumming via Pamela's Pro Workout down here. I was just sending clock signals because I'm not actually clever enough to program Euclidean drums and stuff like that within Pam's. I mean, I can sort of do it, but it's never something, it never ends up being something that I want to listen to. I want something relatively straightforward. And so in trying to work out how better to do drums, I came upon this little idea that I'm going to take you through. Now, normally speaking, if I was programming drums, I would use something like this, the Dictac from Modular, which is fabulous. 4 channels, lovely buttons in which to punch in your drum patterns, brilliant. And this also has this ability to fill or to beat repeat or to stutter. And that's kind of where I'm coming from, because this had no room. It had no room to fit in my case, so I couldn't use it. So I was reduced down to just using clocks in order to run the drums. So I thought there has to be a way, something that I already have, something that can allow me to combine just occasionally a little sparkle, a little fill, a little stutter. So then I was thinking, well, I could use something like the Div Kids mutes here. That's got momentary stuff, and I've used this before to route like 3-4 channels of drums to drum modules, and then use this to turn those streams on and off to allow me to turn off the hi-hat, turn on the hi-hat, that kind of thing. And that's been very effective. But it doesn't mix. It only turns things on and off. And what I'm trying to get at is that I just want to add a little bit of flavour. I want to add a fill. I want to add some interest to what the drums are doing. Otherwise, they are just going dum 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 dum. I wanted to add something. I wanted to add something like this, just at the touch of a button. And that's what I've done, gosh darn it. And it's just through the beauty and simplicity of what the bypass offers in terms of its little bits of routing and its on-offness. Because I was thinking about, well, maybe I can combine two streams of things from the PAMs in some way through like a logic gate, and then it's on and then it's off and it's on and then it's combining. But then how do you decide whether that's on or off again, and then when do you route to it? I mean, are you then having to use something to turn things on, turn things off? How can I automate that? How can I make that simple? And it all came down to the bypass. Now, at the moment, this is very simple. I'm still using just 2 clocks from the PAMs in order to combine those into essentially switching between one and the other, or combining the two together. So it's very, very simple, but there's no reason why I can't add more interesting patterns to the fill when I press the button. Yeah, I can stick in something Euclidean, something probability based, so it's a little bit more skip and jump. But I could try that right now, right? While you're sitting here, I can see whether I made that work. All right, so it's coming from that one. If I go into 4, and go to probability, turn that down a bit, and I could go into steps and triggers, stick in a bunch of weird ones, and see how that sounds. Simple as that. See, you're intrigued now, I can tell. While I'm at it, as I say, I can automate it. I can take another clock, stick that into there. Now I've got a probability gate coming from channel 8, which is turning it on and off briefly. This is just getting better all the time. It's getting better and better all the time. Right. That's fine, but let me take it in closely and try just to show you what it is that's actually happening, so that you understand it, so you can go, oh yeah, I need to buy 5 of those. Where's my wallet? Right? Okay, good. Okay, the Molten Bypass. Let me strip it all back. Input, effects loop, back into here, output. That's the idea. Now, how do I make this work? So let's worry about, turn that down. Just going to worry about the kick for the moment, okay? So the kick I'm using is from Kickane here, and this is the trigger for it. Nice. So in order to trigger it, I'm essentially going to need the output from this. Now, the Molten Bypass can be 2 separate individual channels, which is lovely, or it can normal to 2 channels from 1 channel. So I'm just going to take this from the output, plug it into there. Now, if I take my thump from PAMs and plug that in the top, I'm going to get a longer cable that's not going to get in the way. So that's going in the top. So essentially, because it's in bypass, because it's not activated, so the loop is not activated, it's just coming in the top, going out the bottom. That's it. So I've just put the bypass in between. If I press this, you no longer get anything because it's now routing through the effects loop which isn't currently connected. Now I could bridge that and then it just goes straight through. But there's no point in doing that. Who would ever do that? I have no idea, so that was silly. But hey, just so you understand the concept. So what I want to do is I want to mix another bunch of triggers in to that effects loop. I don't actually have to send out to it. I just need the return. Because whatever fill I'm trying to put in is going to be more than what is going in, if you know what I mean. So I don't need to combine them. I need to replace it with another pattern. So if I take that weird bit of triggering that I just created previously from Pam's and plug that into the from, so it's coming back in, when I press the launch button, this will be coupled to, this will be routed to the output rather than this. No, that doesn't explain it very well. When I press the button, this loop is engaged, so this in would come out of here, but it's not plugged into anything, so we're not getting anything. And the return comes back into here, so it's this that we're interested in. So when I press the button, I get the triggers that are coming from this. When I release, I'm back to the top one again. So essentially, in this scenario, in this setup, the button is switching between this in and this from. This in and this from. That simply. Very, very simply. Now, because this normals to both sides, I can also take the other out and plug that into something else. So I've been plugging it into the filter, which is quite nice, but I could also plug it into the snare drum, which is sitting right here. But I can be cleverer than that. Yeah, I can. I can be cleverer than that. I can run a bass line and run the envelope on this out of that side. So that's working fine. Then when it also takes the same triggers. Just beautiful. Love that. Now, while I'm also doing that, I can make use of these outputs here because this loop is not being used. I'm just using the return. When out of here, pouring out of this socket, is what's coming in here. So I could take that, plug it into the snare, I think. So along with my fill, the snare is now taking on that original pattern that was going into the kick drum. Now I could take something else entirely and plug that into the second channel here in order to run it differently. So if I was to actually run the snare in some fashion, I could put the snare in the top, take this, plug that into the snare. So there's my original pattern, and when I press launch, I'm affecting both of them because I've got two patterns coming in the top, but only one coming into here. So that one is then going to both of these outs. So while the pattern at the top is different, the result ends up being the same. How nice is that? Or I could have them on their own one, of course. All I've got to do is stick something else in there. So if I take another output from something, take that one, I'll plug that in here. They're now on their own individual loops, their own individual patterns. They both just get triggered at the same time. I'm very, very pleased with this. Can you tell? Can you tell how pleased I am with this? And then, as I say, I can automate it by plugging something in there. And that's now doing its own thing. I could take something from the top in order to run that bass line again. I could certainly do that. That's only coming on every time the snare hits. Let's put that onto the kick drum. Ah, now that's a good point, because this only happens when the launch thing comes on. So there you go. What do you think? I think it's bloody brilliant. I'm definitely going to keep that. That's becoming a permanent idea, I think. The very fact that, you know, I can just have this trucking along in any sort of form. And I can just throw in this fill at any point. It's like it could be like a stutter, it could be like a fill or a transition or just something, just to give me a little bit of interest at some point. That's pretty great. So there you go, another use of the Molten Bypass. Just glorious. Bypass is available as a kit from places like Thonk or from any modular shop as a fully built module. It's not that expensive, it's really cool, gives you 2 channels of either bypassing or a stereo bypass, and now you can use it as a jammable, stutterable, fillable fill monster with just a little bit of creativity in your patching. Not bad, eh? Hope that was useful. In the meantime, go and make some tunes.